For England's A, there's going to be 12 who are making their bows, and one of them is Jack van Poortvliet, who's handed the captaincy, and he reforges his brief partnership that he had with Charlie Atkinson at Leicester Tigers. Outside of him are two Bath boys, Will Butt and Max Ajomo, making up the centre pairing, and Curtis Langdon is the vice-captain at hooker, bookended by Phil Brantingham and George Kloska. If you're looking for excitement, look no further than England's 6, 7, 8. Tom Pearson, Jack Kenningham and Alfie Barbeary, whilst George Hendy is an excitement machine. Player of the final in Saints' Premiership triumph last May. Ireland A have the privilege of 5 fully fledged internationals to call upon, and Kieran Frawley is the man who everyone has eyes on, partnering Nathan Doak at half-back. There's a couple of young, sizable individuals in Jude Postlethwaite and Hugh Gavin in the centres, whilst Tom O'Toole packs down at loose head alongside Jack Ainger, and Diarmaid Barron is in the middle. Max Deegan is captain. Ollie Jaeger is a Irish front row replacement, and Harry Byrne has a bit of local knowledge to impart on the Irish out there, currently on loan at Bristol Bears. Well, all this talk of the heavens being opened, it appears the rugby gods have cast a wry smile on the opening stanza of this international that offers so much promise for both England and Ireland. There's summer tours to consider. There are long, successful international careers to tantalise all 46 men out there in the middle today. A number with previous age grade experience, and they will know how the Tingles feel when they sing their respective national anthems. Ireland's call, and God Save the King.
Well, as we touched on pre-game, it's a big afternoon for a lot of those faces outside on the England side. I think all eyes will be on Alfie Barbeary. Worked his way back to full form and fitness, and again, conditions are improving, but it's going to be a day for the number 8 to stand up and be counted. And on the Ireland side, making waves in the Ulster shirt, Jude Popplethwaite. He's only young, but he's gaining reputations every time he's on the field, and Irish fans will be delighted to see how he gets on today. A lot of competition in the centres ahead of him, Bundy Aki, Gary Ringrose, but Jude Popplethwaite is definitely one to keep your eye on.
The buzzwords among both sets of coaching parties this week has been connection. How can these two sides connect, thrown together with a week's preparation? The continuity of the four provinces or the sparkling prospects of the Premiership? Well, our man in the middle is Ben Breakspear of Wales, with Joe James and Harry Warbaum assisting him. Dan Jones, the TMO. And on a day where Bristol promised Bristolian weather, it's mercifully abated. But our Sunday service is underway via the boots of Kieran Frawley and not into the grip of Alfie Barbeary, who has the ball swiped from in front of his eyes. Ireland with early pressure, Tommy O'Brien filling in at halfback before Nathan Doak. The Ulsterman races around to drive the tempo as Ireland work their way left. Frawley, bit of a miscommunication with Evan O'Connell, but still falls in green hands. Early pressure from England that forces a feather forward from the fingertips of Doak, and that's an early defensive win for the men in white.
There's just a slight knock on there as Doak was trying to pick the ball up from the base of that ruck, but really good work by Ireland from the kickoff.
Okay.
Lovely hang time by Frawley. But good from England, getting off the line, making their hits. And again, given the conditions, something as small as ball placement, just having a hand solidly on the ball when you place it back, you've got to make life easier for your scrum half.
Well, the first clinch of the 2-8 of the match, and a chance to see if you picked up any knowledge from your mate Flats along the line. Topsy, we've got Phil Brantingham, Curtis Langdon and George Klosker of England going to ground early, along with Tom O'Toole.
It's the first scrum, we're getting comfortable with
Diarmid Barron
just be patient, okay?
Jack Ainger.
It's the first scrum to get the cadence, just be patient, okay?
Let's go, Barty.
Fresh perm for the big day, for Big Barbeary.
Crouch! Bye!
Tom O'Toole with 16 Ireland international caps there. He provided a bit of cover last week for Ulster at Loosehead, and Ireland win the first penalty of the match.
Loosehead, number 1, clapped.
Yeah, clear explanation. You could see it on this left-hand side. We had a perfect angle with the camera. Phil Brantingham, his left elbow hitting the deck straight away. Could hear the Irish pack all calling it clear as day, and again, that will be a subplot to keep an eye on. Solidity in the SOP scrum line-out is going to be huge today.
I'll give you time, okay?
See there, straight to ground. Deegan pointing it, captain doing his job.
Barron goes to the middle, and Ireland build them all. And they grind through the gears forward, lose a bit of control, but it's penalty advantage for Ireland. A pirouette from Ainger, held up.
No advantage.
And back for the penalty, but a real early demonstration of the power that Ireland possess in the pack.
Well, it was really good drills again. They set them all up really well. It was solid, and then they all went forward. Looking like they're going to tap and go straight away.
Little pop and a short line from Jansen at pace. So close. Composure required as big frames cluster around the breakdown, and surely Ireland are there. No! Titanic defence from England in the opening stanzas, and Jack Kenningham at the bottom of it all.
Well, it's smart defence as well, because given the conditions, he probably knows he's not going to win that collision. So actually, use the player's momentum, get underneath him, ride the tackle.
He's behind the play, lads. He's getting treatment, he's playing on. Let's go.
Charlie Atkinson makes a nice connection in very, very windy conditions. Jansen, the man from Dunedin, so very firmly of the Connacht cause these days. Another Connachtman, Hugh Gavin, shone for the Ireland under-20s in the World Rugby Championships in Cape Town last summer, and these little inside balls are keeping the English defence honest. That one goes out on a pop from O'Toole to Barron. But Ireland being driven back. Gavin backing his physicality, but squeezing an offload that maybe wasn't there. Ajomo spots some unguarded green grass. And Ireland are on their heels back into the 22.
Touched in flight, Joe. Touched in flight.
Well, the chase was so good that it's touched by England, and Ireland will have to throw.
Yeah, fortunately, Ireland will keep possession.
Flight, lads.
Interesting looking at those last passages of play. They were using a formation very similar to the one that the first team used against England in Dublin in round one. I think Ty Burn actually ended up scoring. So you kind of flood that front pod, three players.
He's the hooker, lad, so time is off. He's part of the set.
Then they create a gap for another one to appear in.
He's the hooker, lad. He's part of the line now, so we'll wait for him, okay? Yeah.
Just there again, Kenningham again. So some really good intervention from him so far. The tackle to hold up for the try, and then the offload there as well. England having to do a lot of defending early on. We'll be hoping at some point very soon that they get some possession in their hands.
I was happy with the setup.
Well, this is an awfully sad sight for Diarmid Barron to be making way from the field of play so early.
Yeah, if it's clear, the team will come in. There's nothing clear for
Stephen Smith, the 20-year-old from Leinster, and Old Wesley, bounds onto the field in his place. He's a young man with a lot of excitement around him. Captain Ireland under-19s against Japan a couple of years ago. And his first line-up doesn't quite go to plan. Instead, it's his opposite, England's vice-captain, Curtis Langdon. Tom Pearson, first carry for the Northampton Saint. Jomo, comfortable at first receiver, but missing the mark with his flick back to the second layer of attack. Pressure on England by their own inaccuracy. Langdon, very abrasive. Van Poortvliet to Atkinson. Now it's on for England if they can straighten, and they do. Will Butt connecting with his clubmate. Van Poortvliet testing the fringes. Barbeary has to stoop, and it's slow and steady progress for England. Little dummy there. Phases being woven together by England, but Ireland are matched defensively. A big don't argue thrown out by Joe Carpenter. England on the doorstep of the Irish 22. Now it's Butt, now it's Ajomo, now it's to the edge to Tobias Elliott. First glimpse of the Saracens finisher. Van Poortvliet finding fractured field around the fringes and exploiting wonderful pace and tempo. But in respect to Ireland, it's discipline. No penalties conceded. In fact, it is a penalty, one on the floor, backs to the wall, but they come up with the big play on the floor.
Hold on.
Well, it was a really impressive attacking series by England. Lightning quick ball, attacking left and right, really causing the Irish defence all sorts of problems. But almost at the point where the tempo got too quick, they got a bit isolated. Ireland were able to pick their moment and come up with the turnover. Just looking here again, the ball's away in less than 2 seconds. Means Van Poortvliet's got time to scan, to pick options. Different players are playing 9, they're just moving the ball. But just this last carry here, Pearson goes, half a second isolated, and Ireland get the turnover.
Yes, please.
Well, whilst we were enjoying that fine work at the breakdown, Kieran Frawley will be relieved that we weren't showing his kick to touch, because it wasn't the best. Ireland still in their 22. The captain, Deegan, is hoisted at the front, and this time Frawley gets the connection that we know he possesses in his locker.
Yeah, he'd be glad we didn't show the first one, I think.
As you are, lad.
Much better connection on the second.
2 meters 9.
England circumvent the entire set piece and go straight to a Jomo, who does a bit of matadoring in the midfield. Atkinson, right idea, but didn't quite get his angles right.
The space was there, absolutely, but picked the wrong club on that one. Ideally just wanted that ball to sit in the 22, forced Ireland to play it. Pretty much giving them possession right back to where this passionate play started.
It's an interesting one for Atkinson. It's his. He started every England A game, Portugal, Australia, and now today Ireland. He's only started 8 times for Gloucester this season, so you know he hasn't had the 10 jersey all throughout the season.
Yeah, there's a queue in front of him, and again, this will probably be England defend that line out really well. Part of the longer conversation about the guys that want to make the step up, who they've actually got in front of them.
Ireland on the line, please.
So for Atkinson, he's got Marcus Smith, Finn Smith, George Ford. So it might be that he spends a bit of time in and around this A programme, but as and when, possibly this summer, he'll get his opportunity to make that next step up.
A trip to Argentina sounds nice this summer, doesn't it, Topsy? Van Poortvliet travelling and did that squeeze forward. Then Breakspear kind of ran a bit of a blocking line there, and a Jomo burst through the first tackle. Atkinson puts a bit of fizz on it, and Tobias Elliott has some room. Wonderful low chop tackle. Excellent hit from Shane Bolton.
Use it!
And that tackle has stymied the England attack, and Ireland, although under pressure, have the chance to clear the decks.
Let's go!
That was a brilliant tackle. Only made better by the work on the floor in the breakdown as well. Get England really good off the first and the second fade, generating lightning quick ball. The Jomo flings the offload out, and
I think it's a head, you lads.
England get to width really, really well, but that is a brilliant tackle.
Head injury, lads, yeah. Okay.
What numbers down,
And then
please?
a brilliant turnover there as well. So
7, Ireland.
7, Ireland, yeah.
Well, he got a nice surprise this morning, did
response.
Shane Bolton. He came down to the foyer in the hotel to find that his mother had flown in from South Africa to surprise him, the first time that he'd seen her since June. So the Pretoria-born winger with family in town. And I understand that not as many have been able to travel because a lot of the ferries have been cancelled because of the weather on the Irish Sea. But making a tackle to make his mother proud there.
absolutely, wonderful moment. And
Yeah, still players falling
again,
on it,
proud
Ben,
days
no
for a lot of
problem.
these players, you know. You are in your country's jersey. So again, you want to do it justice, you want to do yourself proud and put a marker down so that hopefully you have further opportunities in it, not just at this level, but of course at full international level as well. So big afternoon for all the players out there.
England continue their assault from long range. They rebuild again from the 10, and a Jomo, clearly the centrepiece of the attacking ambitions. Atkinson on the wraparound, more white jerseys, assist, and they run out of room, but somehow keep the ball in play. Barbeary arrives on a short line and uses Irishmen as speed bumps. Kenningham, forklift dumped back. Big defence from Ireland. Barbeary gets the same treatment. Pearson. Langdon. This lightning-quick ball that England are feasting on continues to be dished up by their busy forwards. Van Poortvliet. Ajomo, Atkinson, pure instinct, and Ollie Hassell-Collins finishes a wonderful, exquisite bit of England handling.
Well, the backs and Ollie Hassell-Collins finish it off, but it was really well manufactured by the forwards. Lovely direct carrying. Good ball speed, good tempo. This was lovely as well. So they get to the outside. Brilliant offload here by Elliott to keep the ball alive, and then just about momentum. Can we keep tempo in the attack? And then when the moment comes to release the ball, look at this by Atkinson. Knows the pressure is coming, knows he has to get the ball away.
Okay, man, thanks.
Lovely flick on. Carpenter and Hassell-Collins do the rest. Really good score by England.
The short clock is behind the in-goal flag, okay?
Thank you, sir.
The short clock is there.
Alfie Barbeary called upon to keep the ball in place. Shot clock kicking down, but Atkinson thriving under the time pressure. Created by Atkinson, maximised by his left boot, and England leading Ireland 7 points to 0.
Really good score, and here's the finish. It's actually Elliott, sorry, with that try-scoring pass, so two really crucial involvements. And Ollie Hassell-Collins gets the first try of this match.
On the cut in the grass, yeah?
Well, he's back to his try-scoring best at Tigers, and engaged last week in Morocco, so plenty to celebrate in the Hassell-Collins household at the moment, and so too the Kenninghams. He's having a very impactful opening quarter of an hour, but his line-out still isn't rewarded. Instead, it's Ireland with the penalty.
Yeah, Alex Kenderland's got in there and done a wonderful job. And Ireland not hanging about here, going straight back to the corner. Trying to re-establish some of the positivity that they had in the opening 5 minutes. But there's Kenningham at the front, really good steal. And of course, when the ball lands and not everybody's in the right position, Ireland the first to the breakdown. Kellenden and Janssen.
In the 5 run it over.
Ireland return to England's 22 for the first time in some time. Hugh Gavin, the focal point. Kenderland, the 23-year-old Munsterman. Another man who wears red, O'Connell.
Playing the 9 advantage.
This is Dara Murray. Frawley just tries to thread a kick through, but can only find the chest of Will Butt. Here's Shane Daly. Fabulous player, Daly. And Bolton is on hand to travel back inside. Really physical collisions out there.
Yeah.
O'Toole with the sleight of hand. Gavin round the corner, just offering the dummy, just asking questions of the defence, and a penalty coming.
Oh, I think if Gavin had had his time again, he might have popped that ball to Daly, tried to get them on the outside. Getting really good cohesive attack. Ireland moving the ball, stretching England. All in the comfort of knowing they had the penalty advantage to come back for.
Lads, discipline is good until we get to this area. Let's be better, please, okay?
This is the
Discipline
penalty.
is good until we get to this area. Let's be better.
Playing the scrum half. Ireland able to generate some really good continuity through those phases, and they go back to the line out.
More. Line out over.
England shunt Ireland back originally. Stephen Smith, who'll stay on for the remainder of the match, just pops the periscope up, looking for where he should go next. Gavin is there, but he doesn't receive it. O'Brien instead, working hard from his blind side. Janssen. clattered tight to the breakdown. Now Ireland go a bit wider. Frawley, one long fizz ball. What a pass from a blindside flanker. And Shane Bolton and his family have even more to celebrate now. A try in the left-hand corner to even up the try-scoring ledger for Ireland.
Again, it's another lovely try. And again, that balance of with forwards punching, narrowing up the defence, and then the backs executing as well. Deegan playing his part. Look at this from Postlethwaite, that lovely roll ball. The timing of everything, the disruption to the England defence. And then that beautiful pass, that's the key. You can see there, England's defence all having to jam in after they've been narrowed up. Lots of space on the outside, and what a pass to finish it off.
Kieran Frawley just tries to guide it in with his eyes, but doesn't have the strength to do so. So England retain their lead, but it's just a pair of points.
Brilliant so far again, just from a wider perspective. Both teams really showing what they've got in these opening 19 minutes, both moving the ball well, both carrying hard, and both executing really good tries when they've had their opportunities.
Oh, that's as tight to the touchline as it gets, and there really wasn't anywhere for Bolton to go, with Pearson swallowing him.
Stay ball, lads. Sorry, man.
Such a horrible kick in the conditions as well. You can almost see the ball spinning sideways. Couldn't be taken cleanly, caught right on the touchline, and it's a good response of England to get possession back so quickly.
Ireland's turn to pinch a bit of line-out ball, and the Jomo races up and makes a good hit on Kendall and identified the transition opportunity. And Smith, who's going to get a good 75 minutes or so this afternoon, sets things up for Doak to target the touchline, and it's a great exit. Very accomplished tactical kicker, the man who hails from Lisbon. Better from England as they move to the tail. Atkinson, oh, Barbeary with utter brutality in the carry. Ollie Hassell-Collins arriving from the blind spot, hits the Jets. And it's a brilliant tackle from Daly, lassoing him round the ankles just as he was breaking free.
The Rugby to the second time. Just wait for this guy to get injured. I know, I'm going to deal with him first.
Well, it was a brilliant constructed move by England. First the carry off the shortened line out, just to get the defence to fold. You see Ollie Hassell-Collins holding on the blind side. You've got a forward pod, and then all of a sudden a winger appears, really well created.
Yeah, we're dealing with the treatment, it's fine.
Seeing a few teams start to run this sort of attack, and it's great because you just don't expect someone to appear in those gaps. And then Ireland give the penalty away at the breakdown after the huge line break.
He's a man you know well from London Irish top seat. You know, what does Ollie Hassell-Collins bring that other wingers don't?
Discipline's really good. We just get this area.
What's been really good this season, again, harping back to his Irish days, his involvement. He's getting his hands on the ball a lot more. Of course, when you move club, it can become a bit more difficult. You're finding a new style, a new home, trying to learn how to play with other players. But this is it, right? How do we use Ollie to his strengths? And one of them is getting his hands on the ball. He's 6'3", 6'4", over 100 kilos. He's quick, he's abrasive, he's athletic. So let's use him and play to his strengths. So that's been something that's grown a lot through this season. And both Leicester and England will hope to see more of that.
We have a stoppage. You come and speak to me, which isn't a problem because you're being very approachable. No, I know, yeah. But we just can't have him every stoppage, okay? Yeah, no. I'll try and manage. Stop passing you. Yeah. I'll try and manage that for you. Yeah. Just pick up moments now, yeah.
Well, it is proving to be a costly afternoon in Bristol for Ireland. as Shane Daly goes off in not great shape. And I believe that Harry Byrne will be taking to the field. So there's going to be a recalibration of the Irish backline. You'd maybe proffer that Harry Byrne will go 10 and Frawley will go 15.
Yeah, that seems to be the way that they're shaping up now. I mean,
Ireland on the 5.
we hope that's not a serious one for Shane Daly, but yeah, the organisation now looks like, yeah, Byrne will go to 10 and Crawley's going to move across to the 15 shirt.
They've changed.
Langdon, with a billowing wind in his face, has the confidence to go to the tail, but the outside arm tells you that it wasn't straight and there was competition from Ireland at the front. That's the key thing.
Well, that's it, one of the new law variations. If there is no competition and it's not straight, it'll be play on, but as our referee noted, we had both, and the turnover will go to Ireland.
Just stay long for me, okay?
It's an interesting situation, the Irish fly half discussion, because that man was playing for Ireland in that position only a year ago against Scotland in the Six Nations. It was his brother before, and now it's the Prendergast-Crowley conversation. Frawley's out there.
It's one that we would need a long time to unpick, but I mean, well, firstly, I guess it shows the depth of talent that Ireland do have in the 10 position. You know, they have tried a lot of players and looking for that long-term successor to Johnny Sexton. Sam Prendergast is the man in possession of the shirt at the minute, with Crowley, and Frawley behind him. It's just up to one of them to really say, I am the man to take this shirt forward, but also you want competition as well. So at the moment, you've got the 2 boys that are in there at the minute. Those are the guys that are going to fight it out. And the others are going to have to fight and wait for their turn.
Just set the space you want off that front man.
And England fans thought the Smith saga was creating headaches. Ireland off the top. Harry Byrne getting a first chance to bring one of his centres in, who links with Jansen. 2 Connacht's men combining. Byrne has his pass disrupted as the tackle comes in. And I wonder, is there a conversation to be had with Jack van Poortvliet?
Our discipline in general has been very good, but it's when we get back into this area from the 22, the discipline deteriorates. This penalty's straight on his elbows first. No, it's just a trend, but there's 6 penalties against us now. Fine. So I need to see improvement, otherwise the outcome changes. Speak to your team, please.
And a penalty as well?
No, that was just a tackle for me.
It's just a knock-on,
Message couldn't be any clearer.
Happy, lads? All good? Time on.
And it's a consequence of the pressure as well, so when Ireland get really good front foot ball, you know, England are trying to slow that momentum, and in doing so, they are giving penalties away. So they're on notice now, particularly in this area of the field. Any infringements, and I think Ben Breakspear might be looking at that yellow card.
Smith, who only made his URC debut in October, just stretches the fingertips of his captain too far.
Use it! Step back 5. Let's go! Advantage over.
And it's an excellent kick. Pins Ireland on their touchline, and Frawley is not going to thank Tommy O'Brien for that pass inside. He deals with it coolly. Byrne maybe not was looking for a lateral kick, but it still worked out because it's in the grip of Bolton.
Release one.
Out the back they go. Byrne so used to playing on these blades with Bristol. Frawley slings one to Deegan, who evades Hassell-Collins by a handful of his underwear almost. And that was a nice blitz from England. Just shut off the options for Kendall. Ireland have got another man stricken in the backfield. They're playing with 14. They try and exploit the no-man's land between full-back and frontline defence, but Joe Carpenter is a match to it. Will Butt.
Let's go, go, go!
It's actually Harry Byrne down in the backfield for Ireland, so the man who's just come on, and England exploit the one-man advantage.
Van Poortvliet puts the footwork on Frawley. Oh, JVP, that Leaves Frawley for dead, hits the afterburners. England have a second try.
A bit of individual brilliance there by Jack van Poortvliet. Again, the Ireland defence just came up a bit staggered. And for a scrum half, that is all you want to see. Huge gaps in the defence, but then the afterburners as well. Quick ball, huge gap. Lovely left foot step, and then is he going to get there? Even if he doesn't, he knows it's greasy out there. I can use my momentum to slip over. And that's a really good individual score.
Try is good, Ben. And a player that's down, I think he went to his own player.
Okay.
Charlie Atkinson slots another conversion, and as he rolls off, we have a look at this break from the Leicester and England scrum half.
Really good. You got Tom O'Toole not really getting any help from Jansen outside him. They get split in two. Van Poortvliet does the rest. I know you'll let us through, but there's a little bit of disruption while all that's been going on as well.
Well, I can tell you that Harry Byrne, who was only on the field for moments, has made way. Looks like his injury is severe enough that he'll play no further part. So Ireland rejigging, and you'll see now England too, because Greg Fisselau has replaced Alfie Barbeary. Yeah, a bit of collateral damage out there.
I think so. The Harry Byrne collision looked like he might have made contact with his own man making a tackle. I'm sure we'll have another look at that, but be interesting to see the situation with Alfie Barbeary. Hopefully nothing serious.
It's initially dealt with very gracefully by Van Poortvliet, but then out on the fall, and his body language will tell you that he's the most disappointed of anyone at Ashton Gate.
He would be, but he's had a good 27 minutes so far. His delivery's been really good. He's moved the ball when need be, and he's just taken a really beautiful try as well.
So Fintan Gunn, the 21-year-old Leinsterman, is on for Harry Byrne. It's an HIA, and so too Alfie Barbeary, so we may yet see them again. Big shot coming in from Hugh Tizard that sees the ball squirt free. And England, from the ensuing breakdown, take a penalty. Kenningham again, right in the heart of the action.
And one thing England have done really well in this game so far, defensively, they are just coming up really hard, trying to put a lot of pressure on the Irish attack, hitting the players as they're passing the ball, trying to really force mistakes, and getting their rewards off that one. Jack Kenningham again, he's had a couple of really timely turnovers, some good interventions, and he gets another one there again.
Take an extra step for me, please.
Again, so Tizard with the initial tackle as Ireland were trying to set up a set-piece manoeuvre. The ball ricochets, breakdown occurs somewhere different, and there's Kenningham to pounce.
I think it's fair to say that Phil Brantingham was involved there as well. The two blondes working in tandem. And Fisselau, who has scored 2 tries in his 2 appearances so far in his England A career, is on, and he's got a fair bit more time than he had in his previous games to make a mark. It is easy to forget just quite how young he is.
Let's go. Advantage over.
Doak just about makes it across touch.
Half a panic look on Atkinson's face that wasn't going to make touch, but gives England some really good attacking ball, and again, they've been clever so far with their use of the ball.
Approaching the final 10 minutes of the first half, that sheared off wildly into the hands of Ajomo. Hassell-Collins again, a busy first half hour for the Leicester Tigers winger, and Fisselau already accumulating the carries. Ireland throwing their big frames into the contacts. Nice hit from Dara Murray, the Roscommon Buccaneer. The Jomo skips it along the turf, uses a bit of the grease out there. And you could see that disconnect that Kenyon almost made through. Langdon. His offload under pressure.
And then it's for England, just a scrum England ball.
Will result in England scrum.
First one Ireland, second one England, scrum England.
And some nice interplay by England. You know, Lee Blackett spoke pre-game about combinations, about working together. And even little things like those tip passes, knowing that...
completion rate so far, we've had 3 scrums, we haven't completed any of them. Tight there, long, feet underneath, loose edge elbow up, please.
Letting that scrum conversation finish, just knowing that 2 defenders are coming to me, I can put someone else into a gap. Those are the things that the coaches will be looking at.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Pre-engage. Pre-engage for the set. Can't scrum again.
Well, at the moment, Ireland are struggling to get
Let's go, lads.
a foothold, with England really ruling the roost in terms of territory. And from the free kick, that is a meaty carry from the vice-captain, Langdon. Atkinson, growing in confidence, decides to hold on, and maybe wisely so. Round the corner comes Kenningham. He gets split by Dara Murray. And that was close to unlocking the Irish defence for a 3rd time.
I disagree. We need to be patient with the calls. I've given you 1 scrum the first one of the game. You improved. You need to go back to where you've been.
It is really nice from England.
You've had reward for the 2 scrums
They
previous.
are really trying to play. It's a lovely line by Kenningham. Bissilau was probably the option. The ball just behind him, and Van Poortvliet's trying to pick it up and just get in each other's way. But again, signs that they are growing in confidence. Trying to find some holes, some gaps, and understanding that when they get their hands free, there should be options left and right flooding through to pick up the offload.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Doak sizes up the backfield, and Hassell-Collins is racing back, and that is an outstanding clearance.
Brilliant kick by Doak. Again, just a little deception on the left-hand side of the scrum, just to give him a bit more time on this right-hand side. Pictures option, gets his foot right through the ball, and that is a really good net gain for Ireland.
Lads, Hooker, go to centre, please. Good. In you come, England.
Shortened line out from the hosts. To the tail. Success is bred once again. Pearson uses Hassell out to dummy, and then the Exeter chief works hard to get himself back involved in the play. Atkinson, a Jomo. Tackle coming in from Postlethwaite. Explosive clear out from Hassell out. And Van Poortvliet has somehow managed to land that ball in the grip of his fellow half-back partner. Langdon, space on the left edge. Langdon looking for the offload. It goes forward, and Hassell-Collins will slide home, but that has to be chalked off.
I'd say between the initial pass and the Langdon offload.
My on-field decision is try because I have a ground in. I just got a suspicion on the forward pass and the last pass back inside me. So on-field decision, try.
I suspect this will be chalked off, but let's have a look just in case.
Yeah, Ben, I'm going to show you 2 throwing it forward as he goes through on the touchline.
Okay.
And did it hit the hand of Brantingham as well?
So that comes out of his hand forward to 11.
Come back on field then.
I think there would have been uproar across the Irish Sea had that stood.
It's going to be a scrum.
I think deep down they knew.
I think everyone in Ashton Gate knew, actually, given the response of the crowd here, which is a healthy one as well. It's been fantastic to see the way that the A programme has been embraced, and it's certainly one that Ireland are looking to build upon as well. They may have been dormant in terms of A-game fixtures, but they've had a very active emerging Ireland programme. They've travelled to South Africa, they've travelled to Italy as well, so the pathway is very much there. A number of lily pads in place to move from province to the Aviva. Harry Byrne won't be returning. So Doak passes to Hugh Gavin. Frawley reinstalled at fly half.
Use it. Let's go.
Just a bit of additional scaffolding offered by Smith. And Doak again, all he can do is seek the salvation of the touchline from his box.
On the line, lad,
yeah, he has kicked well from the base of those rucks and trying to give some energy into his team for the final 5 minutes or so. The Ireland have had a lot of disruption. Players coming off injured. Harry Byrne not going to return as well. He was off the bench as well. So, you know, coaches spoke about adaptability, and that's going to be the name of the game as the rest of this game continues.
Well, no compete from Ireland, so despite the fact that that moved wickedly in the wind, it's play on for England, and you wonder, should they be putting just anyone up if England persists with the tail? But as it is, they get embroiled in a muscular clinch with Hugh Gavin and co. More called, and the physical battle won by Ireland on this occasion.
And play one more.
Will Buck going direct, trying his best to get his knees to the ground, but Ireland had a couple of players all over him. Smith, I think Postlethwaite was in there as well. And Gavin is centre partner too. And once they get his body height like that, it's very difficult to recover that ball, and Ireland get the turnover.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
A solid platform for Doak to move left. Postlethwaite's there, he straightens and dismisses Van Poortvliet. To his credit, clings on for dear life. What an arrival from Evan O'Connell. Finally, Ireland with a bit of breathing space to play. Gavin is isolated there, and Kenningham is one man you don't want to see arching over you when you're all alone on the floor. More breakdown burglary from the Quinn.
And you can see Gavin punching the block because he knew, like, Ireland had really good momentum, but because he didn't pass the ball and carried, he ended up going into Kenningham and Tom Pearson as well. So if one didn't get you, the other one was going to. And Ireland, after some really, really good phases, get turned over at the breakdown.
Well, Jack Kenningham, he's been a linchpin of Quinn's season this year, and it's off the back of a couple of horrible years of injuries, broken leg. He broke his neck in a game against Sale, and he didn't actually realise he'd broken his neck. It was only later that night when his dad drove him to hospital. So he's made of tough stuff, and he's getting a run of games, and he's finding some impressive form. His other back row companion, Tom Pearson, gets felled by the Irish defence, and it's a squabble out there.
Ireland have won the ball, lads. If it comes down to players from an Ireland scrum.
And Ireland get the call. Barbeary is back onto the field, having passed his HIA.
What I'd say is we're trying to come in and clear. They're all blocking our clears, which is giving them that chance.
I thought the Jacko was a really good pitch on the ball.
Yeah, he was on the, but they're blocking. The boys that made the tackle are blocking his
I disagree. So I think he wins the race and wins the ball. And it becomes unplayable, scrum.
There we go, Van Poortvliet asking the question about trying to clear that breakdown away, trying to get good ball speed. He thinks Ireland are in there, disrupting England's flow, but the referee seems to disagree.
What was your style of captaincy back in the day, Topsy? I bet very genteel, I'd imagine.
Well, it's a fine balance, isn't it? You know, you want the referee to be on your side, but you also don't want to push him too far that he won't listen to you. So actually, just asking the question, planting those seeds in there, showing that your team are trying to do the right thing, play the right way, and paint good pictures. So look, England have probably had the ascendancy in this first half, so it's perfectly entitled for Jack to say, look, you know, we're trying to play quickly, we're carrying, we're winning the game line. They're actually cheating to slow us down, so can you give us the advantage? And so far, I think he's led really well.
Well, the word from within the camp is that he's been outstanding all week, Van Poortvliet, not just in terms of his leadership, but in the manner in which he's executed his play. And, well, you'd have to say that sort of that England 9-21 jersey, that's one of the areas that is open for discussion at the moment with regards to England and the senior team.
Absolutely, and look, it's a great discussion to have because it shows that you have the talent that is able to make that step up to full international level. See, Jack had that shirt 2 years ago, and now he's trying to force his way back in. You look at the way England are trying to play, and weirdly, the way that their style has changed through the Six Nations almost lends itself to different nine strengths. You know, whether it's a running game, you might want an Alex Mitchell and a Jack van Poortvliet. If you're going to kick more, maybe you're looking at a Ben Spencer, and of course Harry Randall has the running game within him as well that suits it to more of a broken game plan. So it's interesting at the minute, and I think the dust will need to settle in terms of how England are actually going to play the game going forwards. You know, are they going to settle on a style? Is that style going to chop and change depending on the opponent? So we'll see, but at the moment it looks like Mitchell is hands and shoulders #1 and everybody else is scrapping for #2.
Final 100 seconds of the half. Doak looks to release this back line, which has been living off attacking scraps in the last 30 minutes. Evan O'Connell comes and lends his 6'7" frame and 108 kilos to re-resourcing the ball, and he's in the thick of it again.
Step back.
Doak, eyes up. England's second row's in front of him. And again, box is clear. One last attacking platform for England before the break.
Yeah, Ireland doing really well, but of course we referenced the rain. The wind as well is really, really difficult out there. I mean, we saw Atkinson actually kick from the right side of the field to this left-hand touchline. Such is the strength of the breeze. So Ireland will want to get to half-time with the score the way it is, if not try and add something of their own in this last minute.
Ireland heavily disrupted by injuries in this first half too. Stephen Smith, one of the men deployed early, prematurely from the bench. And O'Toole consumed by the English defence. Now Ainger. Gavin has worked incredibly hard. He's made some unglamorous meters for Ireland. Meters that are conceded back to England through O'Brien's mishandling. And that'll be the final action of a challenging half of rugby, given the conditions and given the nature of these teams being thrown together this week. But it is England A who are prospering in the wet here in Bristol. Half-time at Ashton Gate. England A 14, Ireland A 5. "40 minutes to secure victory for England, or 40 minutes for Ireland to mount a comeback." Alfie Barbeary has been reinstalled. And these two sides, they've come under various guises over the years. Saxons, Wolfhounds, And if you cast your mind back a very long time ago, that predates me, the combined provinces. But no matter the moniker stitched beneath the crest, it is a rivalry festooned in ferocious competition. And we have a fierce 40 to go here at Ashton Gate. England's with the lead, kicking off into the arms of Ireland, who trail 14 points to 5. Sean Jansen.
Take him back, use it!
He says he styles some of his play on Rene Ranger. Hasn't had too much opportunity to explode out in the wide channels. But a big shot coming in on Joe Carpenter, really rides it well because Dara Murray's a big boy. And England have the possession, which was very much the trend in the first 40.
Use it!
Van Poortvliet, you can see his jersey fluttering. That's the level of bluster. Alfie Barbeary toes one through. That's going to be a tricky one to reel in for Gavin. It slips from his fingers and it'll be a 5-metre scrum to England.
Back to Ireland.
Ireland are claiming there was a knock-on from... Here he comes. Really good kick by Van Poortvliet.
Watch him fading here, watch him fading. We keep our process.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity for England. Start of the second half, minute and a half in, scrum 5 metres out. Big blind side, good open side as well.
Who knew that Alfie Barbeary had such a cultured left boot?
It's the first scrum of the second half, lads. We found our weight on your ball. Let's respect the same and make sure we accept the hit, please, okay?
The scrum is ready to reset, and from his footballing prowess, Barbeary will likely be licking his lips at the prospect of maybe a pick from the base. But he's denied the opportunity because Phil Brantingham's knee goes to floor.
It's all good, mate. Loose head, knee to ground.
It's almost a carbon copy of the first half. In the first half, it was the elbow that went.
It's a loose head.
And then on this occasion, it's the knee that goes. Just not quite finding his balance. This opening scrum will have a really good shot here straight away. So he was right on the engage. Knee goes straight to floor.
Bit of a higgledy-piggledy line being offered by both sets of players, but we did touch on it there, that Ireland going for the tail and just England offering any presence on the lift has meant that that is being called not straight.
Well, again, tactically, you wouldn't leave the tail of the line out open, but given the conditions and the wind in particular, you almost challenge the hooker to say, right, if you can hit 15 metres, go for it. But of course, if we put a pod up near the front, if it's not straight and with the wind, it's likely to go to that outside arm. We'll get the turnover from the line out. So again, both teams, both coaches just need to think about how they manage that line out.
Solid as a rock. Van Poortvliet told to use it. And the short side is probed, end over end, and a jag to the right. It'll be an Ireland throw.
Get in there, boys, get in there!
On the line. On the line, please, yes.
Nice kick by Van Poortvliet. Would have loved for that just to have stayed in field, but the bounce of a ball.
Smith again finds his radar compromised by the elements.
Option. Scrum. Yeah, better than the last one. There's a collapse on the last far side, but this side's a lot better, okay?
Well, that side, England chose to put 2 pods up. You see Kenningham at the front and then Lockett in the middle as well, so...
Time off. Ireland 3 and 4. Change, lads.
They have great options, England, don't they, in terms of lifters. Kenningham, Pearson as well. Pearson played a lot of his younger rugby at second row.
Yeah, okay.
And Ireland
again, just better height from both
are ringing some changes here. Ollie Jaeger is on for Jack. Anger.
Crouch!
So a bit of a new personnel
Stand up.
In the
Time off. Lads, come across.
Front row. And Conor O'Tiernig has replaced Evan O'Connell.
No, we're trying to chart.
Conor O'Tiernig there
the scrum didn't start off
was sitting his medical exams earlier this week, so he's been in and out of camp and heading out to do exams, then coming back in. So there's brains as well as brawn in that number 19 jersey, and great dedication to his studies as well as the green of Ireland.
Just listened to Ben Breakspear laying the law down to both front rows. Wants to keep tempo in the game, wants these scrums to be quick, to be set early and to be stable as well, which is credit to him. I think we can keep the momentum in the game.
Up. No, listen to me. You need to get your bind longer. You need to get your elbow up and chase your feet. I'm not going to ask either of you again, lads. Better standards, please. Let's go.
Well, I think the universal opinion here at Ashton Gate is that we'd all like the scrums to be a little more stable and get a move on. I think for the poor backs out there as well, Topsy, I'm sure that you can sympathise standing out there in this rain that continues to find different gears as the minutes tick by.
Oh, all too well. Please get the ball out of the scrum, and there we go.
Barbeary has a bit of a pep in his step, and he carries 3 green jerseys with him to 7 metres shy. Van Poortvliet clobbered by Jaeger.
No advantage. High tackle. It's indirect contact. Penalty only for me.
Well, the handling letting England down, but the penalty was already in the back pocket, and Langdon and England have a little tap move. Is it going to be straight up the guts? Yes, it is. Backing their power, backing their brawn. Barbeary.
On the goal line, advantage.
England right in the shadow of the uprights, a reach from Tizard, but every Irish hand available is underneath to deny England. Magnificent. Langdon. He wants his try and he wants it now. Swallowed up by the Irish. England back round the corner, pick and go. An old school forward feel. Tizard glances up, goes it alone, makes no meters, coughs up possession, and a huge psychological defensive win for the Irishman.
Really big defensive stand there by Ireland. Almost thought it was inevitable that England would get over the line, but
we're not driving square. You're just walking
big
on the
shots
corner,
coming in.
I need a contest. Both sides square, please.
And then Tizard just losing the ball on the floor. Again, really good defence there, in numbers, driving England back.
Let's go, Ollie!
Somewhere in all of that, pops out on the far left-hand side. The ball squirts forward.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Doak directing a bit of traffic, and he gets a solid platform to again boom that ball off the field. He has been masterful from the base when it's come to relieving pressure.
He's had to do that a lot, but he's done it very well, getting some good distance on his kicks in testing conditions.
14 subs.
As England look to make a couple more replacements.
1-3-14, yeah, England, lads, yeah. 1-3 and 14, lads.
1-3 and 14, so Brantingham, Kloska and Elliott are making way. And on comes Tarek Hafar and Luke Green in the front row. And so too Gabriel Ogre. Curtis Langdon is heading off as well. And the additional raw is because, of course, Gabriel Ogre plies his trade here for the Bristol Bears.
In then, England, time on.
And very excitingly as well, George Hendy, wearing 23, has installed himself on England's right wing. Big defence arriving from Kieran Frawley. England sent back, and you could see that arrival coming at pace from Alex Kendall.
It was great line speed by Ireland from the line out, but there was a knock-on in the tackle, so England are going to have the scrum.
Really pressured line out. Nice Eagle.
New personnel, gents. Standards so far haven't been great, so I need good height and good stability.
We do love the A team, but this has not been the greatest 9 minutes and 22 seconds to open the second half. There's a lot of scrums.
Yeah, it has been. And look, at this period of the game, especially with all the changes, substitutions coming on and off, the referee doing his very best to get some sort of standard in the scrum that he's happy with. Likely to be a bit of disruption, but look, hopefully the game will settle. Again, this is a lovely scrum platform. Got Atkinson sat right in the boot of the scrum, and this might be what we see in terms of the scrum, definitely.
Okay, take it home, players away. Just take it home, players away.
Well, Luke Green has settled into the front row conflict rather nicely. Seconds off the bench and straight into readjusting Tom O'Toole's collar.
As we were just discussing, you've got the scrum penalty. Let's get on with the game, and I think the referee certainly wants to get on with the game now. I think we're just going to see penalties now. Any infringement, there's not going to be any kind of talking to. It'll just be a penalty, and let's move away from it.
Keep going, lads. Keep going. Keep going. I'm on centre, so keep moving, please. Keep going. I'm on centre, keep going.
And here with the additionals.
I'm going to set you on the end of the cut of the grass. Respect that space.
Luke Green has had some journey. Formerly of London Irish. He's had a few stamps in his rugby passport since. Amped Hill, San Diego Legion in the MLR, and now Northampton Saints and a fully fledged England A international. Well, that looks a great picture being offered by Ireland at the breakdown, and it's outstanding work from Hugh Gavin, the inside centre, performing like a back row out there.
Technically superb. Getting a decent enough carry, but England short of cleaners to that breakdown. Good chop tackle there. England are actually coming in for the side of that breakdown as well, so well done Gavin, staying in the fight, staying in there, and gets his rewards.
He set up a couple of wonderful tries for the Ireland 20s in Cape Town last summer. Hugh Gavin, he's sort of taken the ball and bailed out Ireland a lot today, but in free space he can really create for those around him. And he's a young man, just 21 years old. First Connacht start last week against Cardiff, and developing rather nicely. The Connacht and Galwegian man. Well,
there's a compete in the
there
front
is
court, lads, and the throw
a complete breakdown in communication as far as Ireland's line-out is concerned. And you have to forgive them, because I didn't realise that there was an extra gear for the rain to get to Topsy.
I mean, yeah, that picture doesn't show you any justice. I mean, it is blowing a gale, and yeah, it's getting more miserable by the minute. So you can see the wind blowing from left to right, so the formula is for either team competing, try and get a pod up, force the other team to throw to the tail, the likelihood is, even if the throw is straight, the ball is going to travel sideways, and if it's not straight, you're going to get the decision.
You must have a meteorological degree that I don't know about, Topsy. How can you tell that's going left to right? It's chaos up there.
I guess.
I will come across. It's the second time early. He won in the first half.
Ben Breakspear's patience, I think, has been worn down to the nub now as far as scrum time is concerned, and there's no resets. It's just straight penalties, and England are the ones profiting right now.
Good.
Oh, great. Finds his man in the middle. It's transferred to Barbeary, who breaks free and skittles into some green jerseys. Finally, quick ball for Butts and England. Van Poortvliet to Kenningham, who stutters, restarts and gets propelled through the hole by his teammates. Barbeary out of the blind spot. Best passage of play from either side in this second half. Ogre not held, so he goes again.
Onside Ireland.
Ireland poised, looming large to make try-stopping hits, and a low one desperately clung to by Bolton denies the men in white, and they've turned it over as well.
Ball available. Ball's available.
Ireland living on the edge, but fully committed to preserving the integrity of their whitewash in this second half.
Use it. Let's go.
Doak does what Doak does, but England will launch again from the line out.
They will. I mean, it's been a serious defensive effort by Ireland in the second half so far.
Okay. Time off.
Don't actually think the ball has crossed the halfway line.
Yeah, watch it stop, gents.
Such has been England's dominance of possession and territory, but no change in the scoreboard, so Ireland will be happy with that. Just be desperate to try and work their way up the pitch somehow.
I have to come to them as well, so I'll always give you time to react on, okay? Just hold
I think those faces paints a picture of 1,000 words. It's a bit of a glum out look at the moment, but their team are hanging in there despite this bombardment from 10, England.
The doctor's called a HIA,
and there is only 9 points as the difference. There's some changes on for Ireland. That's Brian Gleeson, who I've heard in days gone by, years gone by, described as the most exciting prospect in the country.
Yeah, nothing in that phase, Ben.
And I think there's an HIA for Kieran Frawley now. So another fly half is lost to the physicality of the match. Ogre flips it out the back. Atkinson needs to free it up, but it's a timely arrival from O'Brien. Oh, Barbeary almost reads an intercept, but Gavin gets his mitts on it.
Use it. Taco.
There's Paddy McCarthy, who's also fresh onto the field, lending his weight to the breakdown. Stodgy for Ireland. Doak is now at fly half, so that's Finton Gunn, and he hasn't been practicing his boxes off his left by the looks of things. Ireland right back under pressure. Another purposeful carry from Pearson, who aquaplanes almost into the 22. Ball dislodged, and it's a penalty for playing the 9. Van Poortvliet looking to have plenty of time, finding Kenningham, who dribbles one into the 22. It's not what he's known for, but it may just have worked out.
No advantage, lads.
Slipping and sliding in the danger zone. And mercifully for Ireland, the blast of Ben Breakspear's whistle saves their bacon 5 metres out.
Partner up, play the 9.
England want to play. Atkinson skips inside. I know Tiernig is there. Oh, and just a glance up from Tom Lockett as the Irish line arrives. And here's Gleeson. Out wide, feet in touch, no advantage coming. A bit of chaos, Topsy, in the last few minutes.
Chaos is the word, absolutely. As England make more changes. Again, I have to stress it is incredibly difficult, the conditions out there.
I'm going to go that side, yeah.
England probing away, looking for opportunities, showing some really good industry. That last pass just lacking. You see more players about to get their opportunities in this A side.
Okay,
another fresh face into the front row, and I can tell you that Kieran Frawley's failed his HIA, so Brian Gleeson, who's a back row, remains on. And there is Paddy McCarthy, who you'll recognise the surname, brother Big Joe, was doing the business in Cardiff for the seniors yesterday in the Six Nations. He's actually travelled from Cardiff to come and see his brother make his Ireland A bow, the Trinity College student.
Advantage. Not driving square.
Ireland finally get a penalty at the scrum.
Not driving square, just gone run the tight dead.
And an opportunity to maybe break free from their half.
Well, they've done the first job, which is clear their lines from the penalty. The next job will be to figure out the line out. Again, talk about the disruption. I mean, might need a second just to figure out who's playing in what positions. You've got 2 9s on the pitch, so Doak has gone to fly half. Actually looks like Max Deegan is now on the left wing, or at least he's sitting out of this line out, so there's all sorts going on.
More.
Tierney takes the banker ball at the front that you question whether Ireland should have been going for all along. Postlethwaite does well to stoop and collect with the ball skidding at his laces. Good disruption from, I think it was Ogray, being a pest at the breakdown. Richard Capstick, the Exeter chief, is on wearing 19 for England, who's as adept at back row as he is second row. Hendy is about to get slotted by Deegan, and the mere presence of the Irish captain sees him come up with the error.
The second one was forward.
No knock-on called until maybe a whisper in the ear of Ben Breakspear. Ireland into the England half.
I think a scream from the Irish coaching staff as well, all the way from up here. They were adamant. That was a knock-on.
You're square and it's gone on the corner behind you. Everyone needs to go through the mark.
Deegan doing a good job on that kick chase as well. At least, you know, he might be out of position, but
we need to stay in the patience.
He'll give you energy for sure.
Both sides of scrum for the
mark. He's now switching over to the right wing.
Well, you can just see him there in the top left with the bobble on. When Sean O'Brien screams at you, even if he is in the middle tier of Ashton Gate, you tend to do as you're told.
Absolutely, and like I say, given Ireland have been defending for pretty much the whole of the second half, 20 minutes camped inside their own 22, inside their own half, the opportunity now to be up the field, to be able to put some pressure on England is huge.
Ireland inside of the English line for the first time, and it's a big hit that comes from a Jomo on Bolton, who'd seared in from his wing. Jansen, full of industry, brawls his way into the 22. Gavin caught man and ball and butt.
Don't play the 9, don't play the 9.
O'Brien, his turn to play first receiver. And, well, he is greeted by 3 Englishmen who aren't going to let him get to the floor. And it'll be an English turnover, and the opportunity gone for the men in green.
Big collisions coming in there from England. The final one being Tom Lockett, Tarek Hafar. Also Max Ojomo coming up with a really big read. That's the Will Butt one as well, so good signs for the England coaching staff. Yes, they've had the ball for most of this second half, but actually when they've been called upon to defend just now, stick to task and affect the turnover.
There was a bit of movement when the ball came on the far side, but while the ball is in the scrum, we have a contest, it's better.
feel for O'Brien. He's probably thinking, right, I've not touched the ball in this second half. Let me try and get myself involved. But you run into two of the bigger men on the pitch and get yourself held up.
Just for the dynamic reshift.
Yeah, they're just.
Well, there's a sighting of the brains behind the operation, and you see bottom left there, Lee Blackett, who I only ever hear spoken in voluminous terms about the quality of his coaching, and to the right there he's got Hayden Thomas, who is the recently installed defensive head at Exeter Chiefs as well. He was instrumental alongside Mark Mapletoft in delivering the under-20s crown to England as well last summer. These are names for the future. These are guys who could have a serious say amongst the rest of them there at full international level.
Absolutely, and you know, that's a snapshot of the pathway and how it should be and how it should work, you know, from 18s, 20s to the 18 right the way through to the full international setup. Players and coaches showing that they're capable of producing at all the levels. So, you know, it's great for English rugby that they've now seemed to have got themselves back on the right path towards doing that. And now the proof is, can we be successful at all those age groups? Of course, we know how successful the under-20s have been. We're seeing the proof with the A-team now, producing more players that go on to full internationals. So hopefully that transfers right the way across the breadth of that England rugby pathway.
Stay on your feet, making the tackle as well, please. On the line, Ireland.
Run the line.
It's a hugely exciting time, I think, the pathway across all the nations. The under-20s is thriving, and now the re-emergence of the A-team scene, I think it's very, very exciting. And the path is really crystallised as to how to get to the Aviva, to Twickenham, to World Cups, and maybe even Lions for some of these. Hendy makes the ball his.
This guy off feet.
And the penalty goes to Ireland as England go off their feet.
19.
Tommy O'Brien in a hurry. The Dubliner sinks it up to the 22.
He's cold now. He wants to get on with the game.
Well, Ireland have ridden out the storm in their 22. This is now their time to apply pressure. A score right now makes things very interesting. I've never seen a line-out claim quite like that. But it's worked for Ireland, that's the main thing. And it's England's turn to have their defensive credentials checked. And Fisselau and Pearson pass with flying colours. England trying to hold the Irish runners up at the moment. O'Tiernig chips it to Doak, fast hands and across to Smith. Smith scampering in the wide channels and blasting through two challenges. Ball squirms free. Penalty advantage for Ireland. Doak. Oh, just can't get the ball to Jaeger. But Ireland tap and they go and they dance.
We're not in the mark, sorry lads. It's more than 5.
Oh, the message has definitely come on for Ireland. Let's increase the tempo. We've got momentum now, we've got energy, we've made all our changes. Let's now settle into a rhythm and really show what we can do with the time that's left remaining. Starting to build some pressure, starting to put England on the back foot. Desperate for a score from this line out.
Get in treatment, lads. Time off.
The slam dunk.
Well, hey, it worked. I mean, that lift has gone all wrong, but still managed to get away with really good hands again in this condition. We see this a lot with Irish teams, that hooker in those wide channels, stretching the attack, making the defence cover the width of the pitch. Then it's just where the attack breaks down, but they knew they could come back for the penalty.
Time back on.
Former Crusader, Ollie Jaeger, who is one of the props being courted to be the next generation. Maybe one of the few obvious vulnerabilities in Irish rugby at the moment, and Ireland have had a woeful day with the line-out, unfortunately. architects of their own downfall when they've made it into the England 22.
Hold on side. Use it. Step.
Van Poortvliet keeps this one in. Bolton, the try scorer, spots a bit of room and accelerates into Tariq Hafar. Gunn playing out of position. Follows the play as Ireland thrash their way into the 22. O'Brien is full of verve and gusto, isn't he? He wants to be a man who makes the difference. Jaeger has not one but two juggles before reeling the pass in. Jansen muscled back. Doak. England flying forward. George Henley kicking through. The flame head, Saints in red hot finishing form.
Ben, I can confirm it was a knock-on in the tackle. We only got on delayed, so it was a knock-on on the 22 metres.
Lads, it's confirmed by the TMO there's a knock-on in the tackle, so there's a no try. We go back for the scrum. Knock-on in the tackle.
Yeah, there was a question mark straight away, and this one is coming back. The crowd don't like it, but
in line with the post.
Have a look at the replay here. As Pottlethwaite's trying to get this ball away, the right arm of Wilbur clearly hits the ball. Thought we'd had our first try the second half, but we're going to go back for another scrum.
This is a knock on the tackle, lads, yes.
George Hendy's effort chalked off. So we stay at 14-5. That was exactly the man you wanted that ball to fall to from an England perspective. He is
last two scrums
extraordinary scoring rate.
Last two scrums have been
7 in 9 appearances this season for Saints, 21 in 31 across his Saints career.
And he has form of coming off the bench and coming up with really big scores as well. I think none more so than in the Premiership final. Actually, if I remember rightly, he picked up man of the match off the bench, which, again, unheard of, but shows you the value of having someone that can come on and change the game.
Captain Jack van Poortvliet has made way for Harlequins' Will Porter, who is the heir apparent for the Danny Kerr dynasty by the looks of things at Harlequins going forward. And another scrum penalty to England. And Will Porter has assumed the captaincy as well. Curtis Langdon, the vice, is off the field, so not just coming on, but also assuming the mantle as the leader. 12 minutes to make his mark. He's numberless on the back of his shirt. Fissalau injects himself at velocity. Green, smart ball inside, but asks too much of Hendy.
Push back, England, step back.
Well, that's a good kick. England are a little out of position. Shilcock is racing back and he's all alone with Bolton bearing down upon him. But the coolest customer in the southwest gets wiped out the second he grubbers through. There was real venom in the arrival from Kendallen and McCarthy. But it was a beautiful bit of pirouetting to see him break free.
He does really well initially, doesn't he, to get out of trouble. Lovely step, and then just as he grubbers here.
Ben, still got this down a sec.
Wait, need to set this on properly, lads.
When he's kicked it through, 17 green has not wrapped as he's making the contact, so it's a penalty against 17 green.
But it's penalty only, Dan, yeah?
Penalty only for me.
Okay, captain, just wait, just
Here
wait.
we take a look. It wasn't about the timing, it was about the absence of a wrap from Paddy McCarthy.
After the kick through, There's a no-arms tackle penalty only, so we're going to not do the line out. Yeah. It's a penalty on the 15 when the ball landed to England, okay?
Yeah, just the rubber. My feints on the rubber.
Yeah, but it's in 15, just landed in the channel, okay? So it's going to be a penalty here, lads. It's going to be a penalty here. There's a no-arms tackle. Yeah, that's okay.
Gabriel
Time is off, so just make sure you got the right numbers on you.
Will get to throw in for the line out, but he gets to do it a further 20 metres forward as the penalty is, well, it's going to be much further forward. In fact, it's going to be right in the corner here for Ireland. Looks like Ollie has made way, so another injury for Ireland and the wider group to contend with. They've been at the High Performance Centre this week. They haven't trained with the seniors. They've been training as an isolated unit, as their own entity, and they get a line-out steal, which they so desperately need. But certainly there are individuals out on the field, and in this 23 that Simon Easterby and co will have had eyes on and thinking about whether they could factor them into further Six Nations plans.
I have to count them as well, so I'll always give you time to react then, okay? Good.
Well, it's difficult to know. Obviously, we've still got 10 minutes or so left, but the disruption has been so difficult for Ireland to build any cohesion, to really show what they can do as a squad.
Oh, Gray almost hydraulically launches Gleeson from him. Fissalau, who's been so explosive, brought great energy from the bench. Oh, Gray is another man who fires from close range. Hafar, where's the contact? Drives forward, then is carried back across the line. The Irish team told to leave the ball. England will have another charge. They dive bomb, but they miss their mark. Still the big forwards cluster. Still they look for the path of least resistance. And Tariq Hafar gets held up. When will we get some second half points, Topsy?
When England, probably given they have the ascendancy, just go back to what they did in the first half and choose that moment to be brave. I think they could have walked it in on the left or the right. And actually, again, with the conditions, it's easy to soak up tackles that close to the line and just fall back with the player. So once you've narrowed the defence up, move the ball, go and score the try.
On the full higher.
Jamie Shilcock's attempted grubber through only meets the shins of Irishman.
Again, you know, it's so difficult to win collisions that close to the line. You have to stay on the goal line. You can't get off the line and make the shot. So actually use the players' momentum against them. It's actually really clever defence, and yeah, England have got 7 or so minutes to solve the problem.
The goal line defence of Ireland has been courageous, though, all match. They've been under assault in their 22 for much of this second half, and England have been unable to find a way through. Maybe Hendy will find a way around instead. Brushes aside O'Brien. Hendy denied, moment to go. But making avenues into the Irish half. Hafar, another to have been denied. Shilcock, the playmaker. Off goes Fissalau. Fissalau with a moment of class and quality. And a third try in as many A-team appearances for the young Exeter Chief. England at long last put the game beyond any doubt.
They do, and it takes a moment of individual brilliance. Maybe that's what we needed from Greg Hassell to finally break the deadlock in this second half. Really strong by Hendy on this right wing, breaking tackles, getting England on the front foot. Hassell, he's done this a few times in this game. You can see the Irish defence folding, thinking about getting off the line. Hassell spots the gap. Lovely swerve off the right foot as well. He's had really good impact since he's came on, and probably deserves that try as well for the work he's put in.
Chilcott for another couple of points. Successfully splits the poles. And Ireland's defensive stand finally falls. They have been bombarded by England. And she made mention there, Topsy, that the amount of disruption and reorganisation and players out of position due to the injuries sustained in a hugely confrontational contest
offside in the 10 metre.
has made it an uphill battle all match.
Offside in 10.
But they have eyes on a consolation try here. And Doak has drilled that into position A. What do you think for man of the match, by the way? Smith to the middle. Ireland rolling round the corner. Mauling and brawling and short. As close as Ireland have been since the Bolton score. It's still there for them. If one man deserves it, it's Hugh Gavin. The gargantuan Gavin deservedly claims a try. An Ireland break England's resolve late in the game.
Well, it's a great response by Ireland. And
yeah, I'm checking in the back one, Ben. I wasn't sure
Hugh Gavin has certainly stood up today. He's carried hard, he's tackled hard. And at the moment where Ireland just needed a response to give them something to take away from this game, they get their awards. It's a good score.
I'll give you time at the kickoff as well, Dan. I'm good, mate, thanks.
Doak to make it a 7-pointer. England 21, Ireland 12.
Do you want a bit more time, Dan, or are you okay?
Just give me one more angle. I think it's spilled backwards, as Joe said.
Yeah, just in the background. We think it's gone backwards. Just checking the last angle, mate, that's all.
It's 7 points on the board for the time being.
Yeah, but not clearly forward. Stick with your on-field decision.
Further deep dive.
The on-field decision, lads. Time back on.
Which Ireland survived. So time back on, and the score stands.
Use it!
2.5 minutes for Ireland to do something remarkable and highly unlikely. But Topsy, time for your Champagne Bollinger player of the match.
Well, there have been some good individual performances out there for England. I think the flankers, Jack Kenningham, Tom Pearson, have been really industrious, particularly in that first half. I think England's centre combination of Ajomo and Will Butt have been very good too. But my Champagne Bollinger man of the match is actually going to go to Tom Lockett, number 5, who's just missed the tackle, but we'll let him off for that. I think he's been really industrious in that second row. He's worked hard. He's called the line out in tricky conditions. And actually, when you just need those little nuts and bolts to go well in a fixture like this, he's been at the heart of a lot of that good work. So our Champagne Bollinger player of the match is Tom Lockett.
He bends his frame over One more breakdown, and his steal may just set up a final flourish for England, who have 3 tries, and they fancy a 4th.
Not 9.
Kenningham travels back into the fog of war. High velocity clear-outs arriving from England, whose hunger hasn't waned. Nice little dink over the top. A squabble to claim it. Carpenter's there, and he does so. Oh, Gray, no look, and he opens up his ribs to be rearranged by an Irish shoulder. A brave ball, and he's up and on his feet, and he wants more. Hafar. Good carry. Ireland, more defence for them. Kenningham with the long ball that's slapped down. It might just work for England. The final pass looks forward. Hassell-Collins has a double in theory.
This is coming up to you. So
pending TMO intervention.
Because the final pass is forward. However, I have a deliberate knock-on advantage against 6 green. I need to check potential cover for prevention of a probable try, please.
So try or potential penalty try.
Forward, so I'll show you the deliberate knock-on now, Ben.
So on field and yellow card penalty, we just need to check whether there's cover and the chance of a probable try. Yeah, Dan, there's no cover there, mate, for me. He prevented a probable try being scored, so 6 goes to the bin and it's a penalty try.
Yeah, agreed.
Number 6 is a deliberate knock-on, preventing a probable try. It's a yellow card and a penalty try. Deliberate knock-on.
It'll be no double for Ollie Hassell-Collins, and it will be no long fizzed assisting pass for Jack Kenningham to tell his mates back home, but it will be a penalty try for England, and it will be a 4th. England move to 28. The scoreline burnished a little bit more on a very wet and very challenging afternoon in the West Country. Hassell-Collins competes in the air. The ball makes its way across the touchline, and that'll be the final act. Player of the match, Tom Lockett, has put in a titanic shift in quite atrocious conditions under the eye of Steve Borthwick, Richard Hill, and the rest of the senior England group. It's 4 tries for England. It is a big win against an impressive Ireland side who faced adversity all game with injuries and disruptions and recalibrations. But it is England with another A-class performance. Victorious here at Ashton Gate. Full time, England A28, Ireland A12.